Hello, everybody. Rashid Khan here, and welcome to the week 2 of 2 Week 2 Strong. We are really delighted to see you all joining us for this week as well. As they say, a person goes as far as, that's all determined by the choices you make. So we are really delighted that you've made a great choice, a choice to upskill yourself and refresh your knowledge. Today, we are really fortunate that we have a great trainer joining us, and we will be delivering a master class on communication skills. Today, we are joined by Mohammed Zaid Kalia, FCCA. As you can learn from his designation, he's a senior ACCA member, a professional accountant by profession, works as a CFO for a very leading brand. He's a motivational speaker, a corporate trainer, and a coach. He's the president of Toastmasters Club in Karachi. He was the second place winner in an international video speech contest in 2019. And there's so much that we will learn about him today and learn about communication skills in particular. But before we actually hand over the microphone and start this masterclass by Zaid, just a few announcements. Those who are asking for previous recordings and previous slides, I will momentarily share a link of the email that we sent. I think it was on Monday that we sent a link. Sorry, not a link, but an email that had all the links to all the previous sessions. So I'll just paste that in the chat. So don't worry about that. People asking about the certificates, don't worry. We'll have all the certificates emailed to you once we are done with all these sessions. So you just have to focus, attend all the sessions, and make sure you get a maximum out of all this activity. So if you have any questions, you can leave us your questions in the chat box. And without further ado, we'll just hand over the microphone to Mohammed Zaid Kalia. Zaid, can you hear me in particular?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you confirm my voice?
Yeah, it's loud and clear. Really good to hear you, Zaid.
Thank you, Rashid Khan, for such a introduction. And usually people have to die before listening to these types of introduction. So I'm honored, and I think my times is up. So let's begin our session. Fellow ACCA members, affiliate students, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to our this master class, Make Numbers Speak. So I will begin with a poll, and let's see my presentation. I hope, Rashid, can you confirm my slides are visible to you?
Yes, I can see the
Okay,
title slide, and you can just let me know which poll you want to run.
okay. So I would like to run this poll, the poll number 1, which I sent you today. When you,
Sure.
ladies and gentlemen, when you are asked to speak in public, do you feel any of the following symptoms? Increase in heart rate, butterflies in the stomach, uncontrollable shakes, or anything else? So let's wait for your reply, yes or no, whether you feel it or not. Uh,
Well, I personally feel butterflies in my stomach.
okay, wonderful. So those of you who can see my face, I'm smiling, but though many of you, all of you cannot see my legs, which are shivering with fear. So let's see what's the answer of this poll.
Right, we'll just give 10 more seconds for
Okay,
people to answer this. We have
9,
majority
8,
answering.
7,
Yeah,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
right. We're closing the poll now. And we have the answers in front of you.
Okay, let me check where is the answer. Okay.
So majority are saying they feel increased heart rate.
Okay, so increased heart rate is the majority. Okay, and how can you share the percentages if possible for you?
Yep. So 75% of the respondents have said they feel an increase in the heart rate. 37% are saying they feel uncontrollable shakes, shivers. 33% are saying they feel butterflies in their stomach, just like me, and 11% are saying they feel dizziness, and only 9% feel that they don't feel any of the above symptoms.
Okay, so congratulations to 91% of population that all of you are normal human beings because you are facing, if you are facing any of the symptoms, you are normal. So, and what about 9%? So Mark Twain is a humorous speaker, and he says that there are only two types of a speaker in this world. We are skipping ground rule. There are two types of speakers in this world. One, nervous. So we feel nervousness due to different symptoms going on in our body. And second ones are liars, which means all speakers face this nervousness. And the difference between uh, professional speaker is that they use this nervous energy and transform it into a positivity, and they use it in enhancing their message of their speech. So we will learn these things today, inshallah. So this was saying by Mark Twain, but according to me, there's one more category of speakers. These speakers are, when they are called on stage, they immediately jump on stage, grab mic with both hands and start speaking, and they don't finish it up. And they, because they think that this is their last speech, and they connect audience with their Lord. All of people are connected with their creator. Oh Lord, grant this man or woman courage to leave podium immediately. These speakers are irritating speakers. I'm sure you have seen those speakers in your life when you are in any training or seminars or any conferences. You can find them easily. But the issue is, if you are one of those speakers, now you need to go to a clinic or a hospital so that you can overcome this capacity to irritate people. So if you're nervous, you can learn public speaking, you can overcome your nervousness. And if you are irritating speakers, yes, you can overcome this and you can become a good professional speakers. You need to do is applying right techniques, tools, and practice, more practice, and getting feedbacks. So our objective is to speak in such a way that others love to listen to you. If people love to listen to you, or if we think about it, कि दुनिया में अगर सारे लोग ऐसे हों कि we love to listen to them, there will be a peace in this world, and everyone have a good idea. Many times good ideas are shoot down due to improper communication and due to lack of communication skills. So it's very important that we speak in such a way that others love to listen to you. Remember, there will be a percentage of people who will hate you. So agar people are loving you and people are hating you, it's good. But if people are only loving you or people are only hating you, it's a trouble. So let's move on. So we will today focus on crafting our speech for any occasion, because it's very important that public speaking starts with writing a speech. And for writing, we need to think. And for thinking, we need to observe and we need to read out books, and we need to have analytical skill, which I'm sure ACCA provides us to be analytically strong. So it's very, very important that it is the first step. If you think that if you will go to the stage and say or deliver a speech impromptu, yes, you can do that. But either it will be you have only one speech to deliver, or you are falling in the trap of and becoming an irritating speaker, because it won't be having innovation, creativity. So all these are very important. So today we will focus on crafting our speech for any occasion. So in the meanwhile, if you have any question, you can type in the chat box and we will take up the questions if possible on the flow, otherwise at the end. Now we have to run another poll. In public speaking kingdom, there is a king and there is a queen. The question for the audience, 480 people attending this seminar, is speaker is king and audience is queen, or male speaker is king, female speaker is queen, content is king, delivery is queen, delivery is king, content is king. What is the right answer in your view? Please share with us.
Right. We are receiving a lot of responses. Very interesting question. Didn't know there is a kingdom called public speaking kingdom.
Yeah.
Right. We'll just give 20 more seconds and then we'll close
Oh,
this poll
yeah.
and we'll have all the answers. Right. Last 5 seconds. Hurry up, guys. All right. We're closing this poll now.
Okay.
All right. We have the answers. Interestingly, the majority are saying content is king and delivery is queen, followed
Wonderful,
by
wonderful. So we have to
delivery is
stop here.
king and content is king.
Okay, so it's a good answer because options were available. So if we ask this question open-endedly, people are confused. So good choice because you are now uh, fully trained how to select multiple choice question. Good training by ACCA. So yes, content is king and delivery is queen. So why I'm saying this? Because both are very important. If you have a good content and poor delivery, nobody would like your speech. In same case, if you don't have uh, good content and your delivery is very good, people will like you, but they will understand that you are only bluffing or don't have any content to share, you don't have any message to share. So think about a person who don't have good content and also don't have good delivery. What will happen? He need to go to some communication communication mastery seminar, or he need to be admitted to some communication skills course. So we have to focus that our content should be powerful and our delivery should also be as amazing as our content. So today we are focusing more on content, and we will see how we can make our content powerful. The number one criteria whenever you are asked to speak in public, you want to present your report to board of directors, your CEO, or if you ask uh, to deliver a speech in a conference, first thing you need to know about your audience. Here, I don't mean that you have to gather their CNIC number, their Facebook profiles, you have to research them. No, you have to see uh, what is the category of your audience. For example, your audience can be classified into different age groups. For example, if you are delivering a speech to kindergarten students, it will be having a different content or different wording. And if you are delivering your presentation to board of directors, it will be completely different. So uh, it depends who is your audience, and then you can craft your speech. So if you have only one speech, you cannot survive if you have different types of audience. So I have seen many people who use one speech to deliver to different audience. If they are speaking in a seminar, they are delivering the same speech. They're speaking to members of professional body. They're delivering the same speech. Due to the change in the audience, you need to change or alter your content also. It's very, very important to make it lively and to connect with the audience. So there are different types of audience. They can be classified by age range, male-female ratio. Why male-female ratio is important? Because if you are delivering your speech to only one gender audience, then you have to pick up the examples related to that audience. It's very important. So occupational and economic status is also very important. You're talking to a worker or you're talking to a, CEO. What is the educational background so that you can use professional jargons, technical jargons or not. Political orientation and activities are very important. If you're delivering your speech to people who like golf, you can bring in that example in your speech and you can hook the audience. So you try to connect audience with your content. So it's very important to know your audience. This is also one of the example who can be your audience: board of directors, senior management, customers, school kids, sales, internal public. So craft your speech according to the audience, because you are speaking for not yourself, you are speaking for your audience. Remember that you are speaking because audience wants something, audience has a need, which you are fulfilling through your public speaking skills. So remember, whenever you are starting your communication or public speaking, ask yourself this question: what does the audience want to know? Then you can start with a good speech. There are different types of speeches. For example, to persuade, to inspire, to entertain. So there is a difference between those speeches. For example, if your sole purpose is to entertain, then you will bring in humor in that speech, and it have or have not message in this speech. So usually to entertain people, people use humor, and the comedy we see in televisions and YouTube, Netflix is different from entertaining speech, because they try to use sarcasm, and in humor we try to make fun of a difficult situation, and it connects the people, and nobody feel defensive if we are talking about anything. So if you are there to inspire people, you can use humor to connect people, but your speech must have some message or call of action. And same goes with the speaking. And to entertain, your speech should be humorous one, so that, or some entertaining story. You can use story. So let's move on. Now again, audience poll. Which is the most important part of speech? Opening, closing, body, none of above, all of the above. So let's have an audience poll, Rashid.
Yep, the poll is active, and I'm sure Zed will keep me busy throughout.
Yeah.
And this poll is now up and running.
So which is the most important part of speech? Opening, closing, body, none of above, all of the above. Remember the question, which is the most important part?
Yep, so we are now closing the poll. We have enough answers.
Okay.
And So 48% of the people think it should be 10% time spent on opening, followed by 30% is the answer of 9%, 7% think it should be 40%, and 36% are saying it should be 20%. So majority are of the opinion that it should be 10%.
So majority think that opening. Okay, I think. Okay, you have run another poll, which was how much time to be spent on. Okay, no issues. So can you repeat the answer?
Yep, 48% are answering it should be 10%,
Okay.
followed by 36% for 20%.
Okay, so now you have to run another poll that is which is the most important part of this speech. So you have run an future poll, no issues.
Okay, sorry
Okay,
about that. At ACCA, we are so future focused that we think
yeah,
ahead and move ahead. All
yeah.
right, so the next poll is now active. It is asking people to answer which is the most important part of a speech. Is it the opening, closing, body, none of the above, or all of the above? And you have 15 more seconds to answer this one.
Yeah.
Right. 5 more seconds before we close this. And we are closing it now. So answers are in front of you. The majority are saying all of the above: opening, closing, and body. If you speak in percentage terms, it's 43% of the people answering all of the above, followed by 31% for the opening, 17% for the body, 10% for closing, and nobody answered none of the above.
So it's very interesting to see that 50% of people are with all of the above, and the right answer is that all of the above: opening, closing, and body. All three of them are very, very important. So if you think that opening is important, yes, I will say it's very important. If you say body is important, I will agree with you, and also with the closing. But the thing is, we miss something, which is closing. Closing is the neglected part of speeches in trainings and seminars because we are running out of time. So let's move on. All three are important, and we have done. Okay, we are starting with opening, how we can make our opening interesting and we can hook our audience, because we all know that first impression is the last impression. So the speaker has first few seconds. So think about it. If you have only 30 seconds to impress someone, this is called opening. So you have run the
Yeah,
poll.
sorry to
That,
interrupt you, Zed. Your presentation is not visible anymore.
okay,
We can see the slides now. Yeah.
you can see the slides.
Yep.
Okay,
All good now.
all good. So now we are starting. First impression is the last impression, and I will discuss few techniques with you, how you can make your first impression a lasting impression, a powerful impression, and your opening can be a fascinating opening. Okay, let's see. So what you can do, this is one of the technique that you start with a startling statement, ऐसी statement जिससे shocking statement हो, जिससे लोग आपकी तरफ मुतवज्जे हो जाएं. What the person is saying. For example, average 4-year kid laugh 400 times a day. This is one of the example that you are stating one example. If you say this, people will connect with you कि ये बंदा क्या रहा है, what that person is saying. मेरे घर में तो बच्चे हैं, 4 साल का बच्चा तो इतना नहीं हंसता. So ऐसी shocking statement which can can hook the audience and which can grab their attention is one of the powerful tools to open your speech. Second one is tell a short story or anecdote. स्टोरी टेलिंग इज द पावरफुल टेक्निक और उसके लिए तो अलग से मास्टर क्लास होती है कि यू लर्न द basic elements of storytelling and then you practice those storytelling and then you deliver it and you can learn from storytelling or stories. If you can see in Quran Majid, there are lots of stories and with a message. And when you're a child, the first thing you love is listening to interesting stories. Or आज भी our kids are also interested in stories. So it's very powerful idea or powerful tool to start your speech with a story. So let me give you an example. It was a sunny day. School kids were gathered in a playground near school. It was annual sports day. School kids were wearing different t-shirts according to their houses: blue, green, yellow, and red. Parents were sitting on chairs, students were sitting on grass, and teachers were busy managing their event. Contestants of class 3, please move forward. 6 contestants moved forward and reached the starting line. Parents of these students were very much excited. They exchanged the thumbs up. Son, focus, run forward, don't look back, you will win. I said to my son, Sinan, ready, 1, 2, 3, go! All students started running, but Sinan was lagging behind. I shouted, run faster! It didn't help. Then his mother shouted, run faster! It did the magic, and he started running faster and soon reaches the finishing line. So if you can use this story has different messages, which I have used in many seminars. And I haven't used this story in one seminar, but different with getting out different messages because I haven't concluded this. What happens? That son reaches the finishing line. Hooray, you did it! And tears were coming out of my eyes. So I stopped there, and there are a number of conclusions which can come out of a story. Some people will think that my son has won the race. Few can think he has reached the finishing line, so that's why the father is excited. Or some may even think that the father is excited that because uh, son has participated for the first time. So pick up the story which has different, which can have different conclusion, because you can have a message. अगर एक story है, one story, if you have a story like एक था राजा एक थी रानी, दोनों मर गए खत्म कहानी, and people can judge that कि that कहानी कहाँ जाएगी, when this story will end, how it will end, so they will lose interest. So you have to create an exciting story, have a climax with it, and there can be more than one or two conclusion in that story so that everybody can listen to you what will happen next. So in that story, uh, I haven't concluded, so I can say that father was excited because his son was participating for the first time. And I can also say that in this story that son won the race or he came second or third, anything I can. But the important thing is the message. So if you are delivering any story in your whole speech, then you should have some message around it. And if you are using it as an opening, it should be linked with the body of the speech or your message of the speech. It should be linked, it should be relevant. It's very important. So you can use powerful opening in by delivering a short story or anecdote. You can ask question. For example, if I gave you $86,400, what will you do? This can be a question, and whenever you ask a question to audience, you must wait for their reply. Okay, if you ask a question and then without waiting for them, you jump on your body, so it's not etiquette and it's against mannerism. So you have to wait and you have to listen to them. Depending upon your time, you can devote time to answering their question, so listening to their reply, sorry. So you have to wait for, and if you have short of time, you can get few answers. Just Rashid is closing poll within seconds, so you can use that technique also, and you can start your speech from body. You can, this is the simplest way. Quotation is the simplest way to start your speech, and you can have any quotation. A little progress each day adds up to a big results. So if you want, you can use this quotation if you're giving a motivational talk. And quotations, you can find it on Google, you can get it from any book, and even you can make your own quotations, but it should be relevant. You can use poetic verses. न तू ज़मीं के लिए है न आसमां के लिए, जहां है तेरे लिए, तू नहीं जहां के लिए. So you can use poetic verses as a powerful tool to open your speech. Humor, you can use humor, but humor should not attack anyone in the audience. It's very important, because अगर आप किसी को attack करेंगे, it will become a comedy and people won't be able to devote attention, especially the one who is targeted. An example can be, my best friend is my wife. According to her, I'm the most responsible person on this planet. If something goes wrong or something breaks down, kids are not doing well in studies, or maid is on leave, I hear one loud voice, you are responsible. Raise your hand if you have such caring or loving spouse. So please remember, जिन लोगों की शादी नहीं हुई, they will also go through this phase. So you can create these types of humor, which is difficulty. जो भी difficulty हमारी life में आती, that can be converted into a humor. Now humor is also can be learned with another master class. It's a very specialized thing to learn and to create smile on people's faces. Okay, remember, whatever technique you use, it should be relevant and it should be memorized. अगर आपने देख के पढ़ा, if you are uh, using your papers, what's the use? People won't be connected with you. Eye contact is very important when you are talking to people. If you're looking at the paper, उसकी जो power है, it diminishing its power. So relevant होना चाहिए, and you should remember and memorize so that you can give a powerful punch and you can hook the audience within 30 seconds of your speech. Don't use notes. Refrain from repeating your intro. So you have observed that when Rashid has introduced me, I haven't introduced myself, even though I have a slide in this presentation for my introduction, but it's useless to introduce. So what I do whenever I am given chance to speak in public, I give my introduction in written form to the host so that he can introduce me. So use it. Why we waste our important time? अगर आपको 30 minutes मिले, why waste that time in introducing yourself? People should know about you before you are giving, before you join stage, or if you are coming to stage or given mic and Zoom or go to meeting or online meeting. And avoid boring and dull introduction that sorry I'm late, sorry I haven't got chance to prepare for a speech, but anyhow I will waste your time by speaking. So if you are not prepared, पहले तो आपको आना ही नहीं चाहिए था. It's against the integrity. But if you are that important कि आपकी practice हो गई, तो don't say that you haven't practiced or you haven't been prepared for this occasion, because it will diminish your personality in the eyes of audience, और फिर आपकी वो message थोड़ी सुन सकेगा. So it's very important that we should start on a strong footing. So this was a poll which we have concluded by thinking ahead. So how much time to be spent on opening? Majority of you have said 10% of time, but before answering this question or audience poll, we have to move to another poll, which is how much time to be spent on body of the speech. So Rashid?
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
here. Okay, so the next question is how much time to be spent on the body of speech? We are launching it now. It's active, so all of the attendees are encouraged to quickly answer this one so we can move forward. The options are 50%, 60%, 70%, or 80%. You have 10 more seconds to answer. So you have 5 more now. And we're about to close this.
So let's see
So pick your
what
option now.
happens.
And we're closing it. All right, we have all the answers. So 35% of the people have answered 70%, 32% think it's 60%, 23% think it's 50%, and 10% of the people are saying 80%.
So
So
today
there's,
we, yeah,
there's a neck to neck 32 and 35% for 60 and
okay.
70.
So without respecting democracy and your democratic opinion, answer is wrong. Those who say 70%, those who say 60%, body is the main part of your speech. It should have at least 80%. So you can go around 75 to 85%, but ballpark figure is 80%. You have to spend 80% of your time on the body of speech, 10% for opening, and 10% for closing. So here I'm saying 10% for closing. So what happens when we receive, sir, your time's up, we finish up? Okay, so let's wait what happens when we receive the chit. Let's focus on that. Rule of thumb is spend 10% time on opening, 10% on body, sorry, 10% on closing, and 80% on body of your speech. So if you have 10 minutes, you can spend 1 minute on opening, 8 minutes on body, and 1 minute on conclusion. So now you have to plan out, if you have 1 minute, which opening technique you can use to fit in that time limit. So let's start second part, which is body of the speech. It should be inspiring, informative, mesmerizing. So if you have hooked the audience in 1 minute time, now it's important that you keep the audience with you whole of your body of the speech. So there are different things which we need to cater in body of the speech. First thing first, भाई स्पीच किस मौजू पे आपने लिखी है, what is your message? It's very important. Do you know what is your message? If you know it and if you can write it maximum in 3 lines, yeah, you have done your job. But if you don't, if you are not able to write it within 3 lines, you need to go back to storyboard. You have to relearn the topic and come back and write it in 3 lines or less, so that you are clear about what you want to deliver to your audience. So if you are confused, your audience will go back with more confusion. So divide your this part of speech into 3 to 5 subtopics related to your main point. It's very important. Why it's important? Because अगर एक ही point होगा, उसको आप, if you divide it into 2 to 3 to 5 parts, it will be easier for people to understand. It's easier for people to grasp your point of view and what you want to deliver. So it's important. So first is the main body, and then you have 3 to 5. When I say 3 to 5, if you have 10 minutes time, no more than three subtopics, because you won't be doing justice if you are giving a lot of points in one 10-minute speech. So it's very important to respect your audience. इतना glass भरें जितनी गुंजाइश है, ठीक है? Fill the water जितनी गुंजाइश है, you have space. Okay, let's move on. If the main topic is time management, because I have started, if I give you $86,400, what you will do. So this is ओपनिंग ऑफ माय टाइम मैनेजमेंट. आपने कहा कि मैं घर खरीद लूंगा, मैं एससीसी की फीस दे दूंगा, मेंबरशिप फीस दे दूंगा, आई विल बाय new car, or I don't have to work, then I will start my business. Okay, whatever you say. So what will be my reply? That we all have been given 86,400 seconds in one day. Let's use it effectively. So my main topic is time management. Then what I can come up with subtopics, it can be, first one can be importance of time. I will explain importance of time in this subtopic. Then I will let you know how we waste our time. Interesting fact is that I also um, give a training session on overcoming procrastination. So when we were doing an activity, majority of people waste 3 hours in a day. So that in that exercise, they point out how we on which activities we waste our time, and they come up with 3 or more hours in a day. So think about it, agar 3 ghante 3 hours you are wasting in a day, and if you can utilize that 3 hours time to some productive things, you can achieve your goals. So useful tips on time management, how to utilize your time. So this is the structure. Main body ho gayi, main point ho gaya, sub point number one, sub point number two, sub point number three. It happens, and you are ready to fill in these sub points now. अब इन सब points को कैसे fill in करना है? You can support your subtopic with examples. Okay, you can, for example, if you can share some famous personality, how he utilizes time. For example, he's going to his office and he's reading book. Okay, you can quote an example of Warren Buffett. He's reading uh, a book a day, something like that. So you can use that relevant example to enhance the message in your subpoint. Here you can also share some story. For example, Howard Schultz in 1987 went to Seattle to open first branch of uh, Starbucks, and he has a one big goal in his mind, that in 5 years time everyone walking on the street will have Starbucks coffee cup in their hand. It can be a short anecdote and it will fit into the goal setting speech. You can share statistics. For example, if you're sharing number games or medical statistics, so you can find that, for example, every one child out of 1,000 suffer from Down syndrome. So you can uh, also find out the relevant thing from accounting, how many accountants reach partner level or something like that according to your speech. Testimony can be used from famous medical journals or some other journals. And facts, what are the facts you can do? So these 6 examples, 5 examples are there. Uh, you can use them to support or enhance your subtopic. So you can either use one, for example, for point number one, you use example. For point number subtopic number two, you can use anecdote, and for topic number three, you can use facts. So you can use example for everything, but if you can vary the things, it will be interesting for the audience. So these are the 5 important things. Use short words, short sentences, because it will help audience to understand what you want to say. Use specific words, use active voice, short paragraphs, and use vivid words. Vivid words are those which create imagination in the mind of audience. So if you say he was walking fast, you can replace it with one word, which is he was scuffing. Sorry, he was striding. So he was taking long steps. So see, if you use striding instead of walking fast, you can save one word. And if your speech is full of vivid words, it will create images in uh, audience mind, and it will give you an opportunity to convey your message within a short period of time, and you can conclude your speech within time limit. So, okay. So this is another poll, and I hope it should be the last one. If you're short of time, skip closing. True or false? Rashid, over to you.
Right. Quite relieved to hear that this is the last poll for me to run, and the poll is now active for you to answer. It's asking if you're short on time, should you skip closing, true or false? And you have 10 more seconds to answer. We have almost half of the attendees have already answered, so we'll just give you 5 more seconds. Right, and we are now closing this. And the results are in front of you. 89% of the people think it's false. You should not skip closing. But 11% of the people think it's true. You can skip closing if you want.
Yeah. So the right answer is false, which is you should not skip closing. So if uh, you're running out of time, the best thing is skip remaining part of the body and focus on conclusion. So it will happen when you are not coming with rehearsal, so you will running out of time, or something happens in the audience that seminars are getting late and they reduce your time limit, so you are not prepared for that. So whenever you face this situation, don't skip closing. Skip body of the speech and jump to the conclusion. Why? Because it is the last opportunity for you to communicate with your audience. All is well that ends well. So remember that you have to um, you don't have to skip your conclusion. It's very important so that you can give a powerful message in conclusion. And let's see what are the important things we can use as a tool and techniques. One is quotation. So I won't go into detail. We have deliberated on this in opening. So most of the things are similar to opening. So few are different. We will discuss those in detail. Tell a short story or anecdote. Yeah. So if you are concluding your speech, it's very important that you give them a message which is call to action. आपने पूरी कहानी सुना दी है. Now it's time to repeat the call to action, what you want people to do. It's very important. So call to action. If there's a call to action in your speech, it will it can become motivating speech. It can become inspiring speech because there's a message. There's things to do for audience. So you can use this technique also. Next technique is rhetorical questions. You can end with a question that we are when we will wake up. People are dying in Africa and we are enjoying our lives in our home. So this can be a powerful um, conclusion if delivered with force, and when you are communicating with and you have memorized this question, so you can use this is also one of the technique and people will remember. So people usually forgot speeches and they remember what was the conclusion. So that's why conclusion is very important. very important. You can refer to the beginning if you have started with a story and if you have not concluded that story in the beginning. So what you can do, you can conclude that story at the end. So it is called refer to the beginning. The easiest way to conclude is summarize. For example, you have shared importance of time. We have shared how we waste our time, and we have shared useful tips. So you can conclude with sharing briefly in 10% of time what were the useful tips or how you can overcome with when we waste our time, how you can utilize your time effectively, what are the three things you can do. You can summarize those things and it will be an impactful conclusion. So for conclusion, it should be relevant, memorize it, and remember that you have to end your speech on time. So this we have discussed all three things, how we can start with a powerful opening, how we can make our body of speech powerful, and then how we can make mesmerizing conclusion. So now when I hope, Rasha, that this presentation will be shared to the audience. And what you can do on this slide, there's a story. I challenge you that use your imagination. वो दिमाग जो हमने अभी सिर्फ एसीसीए में यूज किया है या अपनी जॉब्स में यूज किया है, रोजमर्रा के कामों में यूज किया है, use that imagination to complete this story. And this is your home assignment, and you don't have to submit it. If you are succeeded in writing 500 words story out of it, I think you have done a great job. So that's concluded our king's part. So body language, we are running out of time, so I am skipping the body of my presentation. So now what's the next step? What you need to do for improving your communication skills? So let me give 1 minute to delivery. Whenever you come to deliver a speech, start with the middle of the stage if you are feeling confident. Otherwise, you can go behind the lectern. But remember, when you are starting from middle of stage, few people have a tendency to walk around. So any walking around to see your steps are moving ahead as you are wearing a smartwatch or smartphone, you're tracking your foot numbers. So what you need to do, you need to move with purpose. So when I explain you have delivered, you, for example, what you can do, you can start your opening from the middle of the stage and then you can move around to the right side and you can um, explain your point number one, and then you can come back to the middle or left hand and explain the right point number two, and come in the center for point number three. It's a basic rule. You can maneuver as you want and as you gain experience, but don't use your movement without purpose, walking around. It is very um, irritating for the audience to watch a people who is moving around listening to that person. वैसे ही दिमाग हमारा जो है ना, it's काबिल नहीं होता कि concentrate on different things. So due to the recently we are used to mobile phones, so thanks to that we have a short span of focus. So this is very important. So what you need to learn now, you need to learn how to create vocal variety. It's very important because it will also create engagement in the audience and people will look and listen to you. You have to learn how to use your gestures while delivering your speech. You have to learn storytelling. What are the basic things? You have to learn humor, basic humor, so that you can incorporate that humor. And what happens if nobody laughed at your joke? क्या करना चाहिए? Don't have to repeat, you don't have to apologize, you have to move on कि मैं तो serious बात कर रहा था, मैंने serious, ये दिल में कहना है. I am talking to myself that I was delivering a serious speech, so humor तो था नहीं, तो why people will laugh? So then you have to move on. So practice करनी है. If you want to become a good speaker, public speaking के लिए what is very important is you have to learn the techniques and then deliver your speech and then receive your feedback and then you have to level up your speech. Otherwise, only reading books or even in this case, if you have attended my communication skills master class, it won't help unless you come forward, take first step and start speaking. And remember, you can overcome fear if you speak in front of public. If you don't speak in front of public, you won't be able to overcome the fear of public speaking. So it's very important that you all guys uh, focus on these things. That there's a huge things, many things to learn, and there are many options available to equip yourself on these areas. Remember, the moment you give up is the moment you let someone else win. So if you give up कि यार कौन इतनी मेहनत करे, कौन स्पीच लिखे, कौन ओपनिंग बनाए, कौन बॉडी में इन्वेस्टमेंट करे, and then conclusion, and then you practice and rehearse on delivery, and then you go on stage, और उसके बाद आपको feedback मिले कि यार you need to improve this. I don't want to do it. Remember, the moment you give up is the moment you will let someone else to win. Okay, this is some trainings I do as a passion, at a very reasonable price. So now it's time for your questions. If you have any question, so I'm available. And let's see, Rashid, if you have any question, I can.
Sure, we have a lot of questions, Zed.
Oh,
So, kuch to questions are for me. People are asking for previous recordings, or they are asking if they will receive the recording of this session and the slides. So, just as Zed ne kaha hai, he will share that PowerPoint presentation with me, and then I'll email it to you as well as the recording of the session. So, don't worry, people who've joined us late, they can listen to the recording. Okay, so Seher Akram ने एक question किया था at the beginning of the session. Every time when I talk in public place, my voice shuts and I can't speak anymore involuntarily, and I get so nervous without any reason. How I can overcome that? तो ये nervousness को कैसे काबू किया जाए, Zad?
so there are a number of ways to overcome this. सबसे पहले तो इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग ये है कि आपने तैयारी की है या नहीं की है स्पीच की. इट्स वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. पीपल व्हाट हम ये समझते हैं कि वी विल गो ऑन स्टेज एंड वी विल स्टार्ट टॉकिंग. इट डजंट हैपन unless you have God gifted talents which only few people have. Others have to learn this technique. So techniques जो मैंने बताई, you can use it, you can craft your speech, and then what you have to do rehearsal. What you can do, you can rehearse in front of mirror, in front of any your good friend जो आपका मजाक ना उड़ाए. If someone is making fun of you, you won't be able to learn it. और होता यही है कि बचपन में हमारा इतना मजाक उड़ा होता है जब हम उल्टी बात कर देते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक सिंपल छोटी सी मिस्टेक होती है, ही को शी कर दिया, शी को ही कर दिया, पता भी नहीं होता. एंड people start laughing in our school, in our colleges, universities, and we come in our silos or अपने shell में आ जाते हैं, and we don't then move forward or learn. So important thing ये है कि first of all this should be done कि आपका message or content ready हो, you have done practice, and then what you need to do, there's a technique of visualization. This technique works like visualize in your brain that you are a good speaker, you are a professional speaker, and then visualize it कि ओ जैद कालिया को बुलाया गया, जैद कालिया सोच रहे हैं कि यार मैं बहुत बड़ा स्पीकर हूँ, I'm a good speaker, I'm a famous speaker, and then go to stage and think, sorry, you are visualizing. So in your brain, you are visualizing that you are going to stage, everybody is applauding, and then you are starting with a mesmerizing opening, you're conveyed your message, and then you have a fascinating conclusion, and you are now coming back to audience at your seat, and everybody is giving you standing ovation. this is the visualization technique. ये और चीजों में भी इस्तेमाल होती है. So when you do that, your brain will think like that after some time, and it will give you some confidence. और तीसरा तरीका ये है कि स्पीक इन फ्रंट ऑफ योर फ्रेंड. एक फ्रेंड को बुला लें, देन दो को, लेकिन थिंग इज उनको ये ऐसे फ्रेंड्स हो जो आपका मजाक ना. So, or find out any forum which can help you out in which can give you a practice ground जहाँ पे आपके ऊपर लोग हंसते ना हो. So, Toastmasters is one of the platforms. You can join any club. We can start ACC Toastmasters Club also, and it caters 20 to 30 people, and we are gathered for one main objective that we all have to improve. So these are the basic things you can apply, and you can overcome this fear.
Great piece of advice there by Zed. Just a little announcement before we answer other questions. One reminder that you have to check your MyACC account to make sure all your information is up to date or your payments are up to date, so you stay active, because the cutoff for the subscription payment is 15 September for members and 22 September for students and affiliates. So I forgot to announce it in the beginning. So this is really important reminder that you stay connected with your global network and grow in your career. The other announcement is because many of the people are joining during their work day और उन्होंने अपने supervisor से सिर्फ 1 घंटे की permission ली हुई है. So if they want to leave the session now, they can, and we'll continue answering the sessions. People who have time, उनसे request है कि they stay with us. But people who have serious and genuine reasons to leave, they can leave now. So next question, Zed, is from Risham Inayatullah. She's asking, is humor always a good idea to gauge attention of the audience, to catch attention of the audience? Because humor is also very risky, no?
Yeah, it's a very important question, and I would suggest don't use humor when you are presenting in a board of directors meeting, because it will set you free, and you have to then search for another job. So it depends on the audience. The first thing is know your audience, and do you know how to use humor? If no, don't use it. So that's the key thing. Learn humor, and then you will be able to apply it. Or what happens? I delivered a humorous speech, and people were laughing, 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 stitches in the stomach. And then same speech to different audience, and nobody laughed on my single joke. So it happens. So don't blame yourself. It depends on the audience mood. It depends on audience time. So yes, your question is relevant. Don't use humor if you don't know how to use it, or if you are presenting to some seniors. It's पता नहीं कि उनका दिमाग में क्या चल रहा और what happens next. So it's very important. Either use, then what you can do, you can use quotations, और जब भी board of directors हो तो उसमें you should have a small opening, even less than 10%. You can start with quotation to grab their attention, just go on to the executive things so that you can pass through that presentation.
Right, very well. Ali Nakash is asking, what if this is actually, he's referring to the advice that you've given in your presentation to use storytelling. So he's asking, what if the audience is in hurry and says, please don't waste our time, come to the point, and they're not ready to listen to your story? So us situation mein, what to do?
So in any time you deliver an engaging story, nobody will tell you कि भाई जल्दी करो, ठीक है. तो engaging story होती वो है जो engage करे, and audience की type पे भी depend करता है कि if they don't want to listen to people, तो वो एक separate debate है कि audience को क्या हमने सही gauge किया था, type of the audience, and we have selected the story. So why I have given you different tools? Because you need to select something which is relevant to that audience also. For example, if you are delivering your speech to females, and you are using a story of some male who have succeeded in his life, irrelevant हो जाता है ना. So if you are delivering irrelevant things, people can ask you, "Bhai, what come? Let's come to the point." So it depends on many factors. So know your audience and then select the tool or story. I have used a story. Okay, I have used story in when I was host and I was third host, and I have to only announce the results. So I have used it, and everybody enjoyed it because the feedback जब मिलता है लोग आके मिलते हैं. So majority of people will like your stories. Stories have a power to connect people. Delivered in the right way, उसकी basic things होती हैं, उसको किस तरह से लिखा जाता है, it's very important.
Right, very well. एक बड़ा interesting question आया है from Farjad A. Siddiqui. He's asking, if someone's in the public asks you a question and you don't have the answer, so how you can, very technically skip that one?
So there is a technique of impromptu speaking. So in this training, we gave you how to handle those questions. So the basic technique is you start with the topic and you flip to the topic of your interest and then conclude. This is one of the way. And if you are in a situation where you can accept it that I don't know the answer, then you should accept that I don't know the answer. But if it is compulsory to answer, then you have to use that technique. You have to start with the topic. You can use a quotation of something else, and because it's an impromptu speaking, and in this you can divert from the topic, and you can speak on the topic which is relevant to you, and you can conclude. So in this way, और बहुत सारे लोग तो ऐसे ही करते हैं, when you ask something and they reply something else. So this is one of the way to save yourself from those questions. But in interview you can't do it. अगर कोई आपसे interview लेने गए हो तो वहाँ पे आप ये नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि it will backfire. And also जहाँ कोई serious discussion हो रही है, you can accept I don't know on this matter. I can come back to you later.
Right, very well. Avinash Dharma is asking, please let us know about different platforms or competitions in Karachi specifically where we can show our public speaking skills or we can polish our skills.
So the best platform is Toastmasters Club. There are a number of clubs in Karachi which are working. I'm also president of one Toastmasters Club and I'm also a member of different clubs. So get connected with me on LinkedIn or Facebook page, and or even if you can go to Toastmasters website, you can find a club there. So there are thousands of clubs across the globe. So this is the club which allows you to practice your delivery, and also you can learn new techniques and you can get feedback. So I highly recommend anyone who want to overcome fear. Yes, they can join clubs.
Right, very well. Manoj Kumar Vaswani is asking, hello, I'm a singer. I sing very confidently, but I'm not able to talk anything to the audience. How I can overcome this? He can sing, but he cannot speak with confidence.
Okay, so you can use the visualization technique for yourself and think what gives you confidence while singing, and what is the hurdle, what you are feeling when you are delivering a speech. I think it can be preparation or content. Any one of them is getting you stuck up in public speaking because because in singing you are good at and you have a confidence. So there's a problem in either rehearsing the content of your speech or developing a content.
Right, very well. And we have another question from Man Ying Chen. He's asking how to overcome the stage fright, how you can overcome that.
Same, yeah. So I have answered this question. It was the first question. So visualization technique is the good way to overcome stage fright. And also, if you learn gestures, how to use body language. So when you move your hands and you have a movement on stage, it also releases negative energy. So that can be used to overcome and convert that nervousness into a positive energy.
Right. We'll just take one or two more questions because I think we've already run out of time. Or I think if people have more questions, they can contact you directly. As you mentioned, you are on LinkedIn, and there, I think you are by the same name, MZ Kalia, and people will not have any difficulties searching for you, and then they can DM you all their questions and stay in touch with you for all their learning. As you're also part of ACCA community, we have a question from Badr Aziz. He's though the question is not about public speaking, it's more about business meetings. So he's asking, when I go into a meeting with senior managers, even though I am comfortable with them and have known them for some time, why does my voice still shake and I feel uncomfortable, get cold shivers? Even though I feel calm in my mind, my body shivers with cold feeling. Please advise how I can tackle this because I feel my mind is normally calm, but my body is not.
So first question was, yes, I'm in on LinkedIn and I have mentioned my addresses of Facebook page and also LinkedIn on this presentation slide. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well as on my Facebook page. And you can also see different uh, courses are also coming to equip our generation with different things. And for this question, yes, you can also use visualization as well as what you can do, you can practice your voice in rehearsal. So the more you rehearse, it will help you out in delivering a right quality of voice in front of your seniors. And don't be afraid of, don't think, because your brain is thinking about your seniors and what they will say. ये लोग क्या कहेंगे, ये चीज़ बहुत ही ज़्यादा आपको अपने शेल में डाल देती है. सो थिंक अबाउट के nobody will say anything to you, कुछ भी नहीं होगा. व्हाट हैपन के ये आपका ब्रेन गेम है. सो विजुअलाइजेशन विल हेल्प एंड आल्सो प्रैक्टिस योर वॉइस कि आपकी आवाज़ आपको कैसी लग रही है. इफ यू से सम वर्ड्स और सेंटेंसेस बिफोर गोइंग टू द मीटिंग and then you can I think feel better about it.
I'm clubbing three questions, and this is going to be the last question. The questions were asked by Yahya Khan, Atiq Mahmood, and Firas Baloch. So they're asking if you have people in the audience who are genuinely not interested. They're just there, but they're not interested in the topic. They're not interested in listening to you, and how you can actually engage people when they're not interested, and what sort of conclusion you should present that can cheer people up.
Okay, so if people are not listening, there are a number of techniques which we have already discussed. The best way is using humor or using some joke, and it should be relevant, by the way. And what will happen when people will laugh? They were not listening to you, and they will think that they have missed some important joke or important humor. Then they will, you will gain their attention. And there will be a 10% of people, whatever you do, they won't listen to you. They are भाई जल्दी से खत्म हो जाए, we need to have some refreshment, we need to do networking. They are there for that purpose. So it's very difficult to have 100% audience with you, but if you use vocal variety, gestures, humor, powerful opening, storytelling techniques, I'm sure that 90% of people will with you.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And it's very difficult to pay attention when you can smell the biryani in the hall. So all you want is the presentation to end. And I thank you very, very much for joining us and taking out time for this very, very wonderfully delivered masterclass.
I
And we
think
look forward to
one
engaging
more
with you
thing,
again.
Rashid, one more thing. We need to run a poll. How many of you missed the biryani?
Yes, so virtual biryanis to your ways, people. Thank you very much all for joining the session. I'll make sure that I send out the slides and the recording so you can have more out of this masterclass. And you can contact Zad if you need any more information. We'll be back with another session of week 2 of 2 Week 2 Strong. We'll be joined by Kapil Kumar, and the topic is job hunting in a digital age. And we'll talk about how you can enhance your profile on LinkedIn, on digital media, and get more attention from recruiters. So we will be looking forward to you joining us tomorrow. Thank you very much all. Signing off, and see you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you, Zad.